Galnet News Update, 14th of July, 3308. There's good news and there's bad news about the Proteus wave. Salvation has admitted that Operation Witch Hunt has materially impacted Azimuth Biotech's ability to prepare the anti-Xeno superweapon, and that it'll be delivered 2 weeks later than originally planned. But during that 2-week delay, Salvation has arranged for additional incentives to those willing to fight off the Thargoids. It's the superpowers, not Salvation, that'll pay for these extra incentives. Admirals Henry Paul Atherton of the Imperial Navy, Maxton Price of the Federal Navy, and Rachel Ziegler of the Alliance Defence Force, who are working to protect Azimuth Biotech in HIP 22460, have agreed to make a massive payment out of their respective defence budgets straight to Azimuth Biotech, which is, with immediate effect, offering combat pilots additional payments and incentives over and above the normal combat bonds. Those interested in taking part this week must remember to sign up, and the combat bonds must be cashed in at the Musashi megaship, which is in Pleiades sector CW-U B3-2, 8.6 light-years from HIP 22460. Salvation is also offering pre-engineered Guardian Gauss cannons to the top 50% of contributors, with the top 25% getting 2 of the small but effective cannons. It is expected that a similar arrangement will also apply next week, possibly centred on the Glorious Prospect, which, like the Musashi, is in Pleiades sector CW-U B3-2.
The battle in HIP 22460 has been raging for 2 weeks, and there's been no letting up from either side. The Alliance, Empire and Federation have all put their military resources at Salvation's disposal while he prepares his Proteus wave weapon on Planet 10b, the entire surface of which has been cordoned off while the work progresses. Jade Sanderlin of Vox Galactica has reviewed the battle, and although there is much to be proud of, she reports that there have been concerns raised by several groups. Operation Witch Hunt is among those questioning whether Salvation's tactic of drawing Thargoids into close combat in a single system might be causing the Thargoids to respond aggressively. Commentator and activist Joy Sen goes further, suggesting that Salvation's hostility towards Thargoids, dating back at least 150 years, may have been the reason our attempts to communicate with Thargoids have failed. Without Salvation, she argues, a diplomatic solution to the conflict might have been possible. Coupled with the utilitarian approach to saving humanity taken by Salvation and Azimuth Biochemicals in the past, meaning that they were prepared to sacrifice many thousands of individuals for the greater good, and concerns over what Salvation will use the Proteus wave for once he's finished scaring off the Thargoids, and adding some recent evidence that Thargoids may be beginning to adapt to Salvation's weapon, there's a lot to be worried about. However, Sanderlin reports that most participants in the war have good morale, despite the growing numbers of casualties, with representatives from all branches of humanity fighting side by side against the common enemy of what Sanderlin describes as the biomechanical nightmares that are Thargoid vessels. She notes that the Bright Sentinel, which has been loaded up with vast amounts of Guardian technology, is not suffering from direct Thargoid attack, and that many are willing to die on the understanding that the Battle of HIP 22460 will be the final decisive battle of the Second Thargoid War. Salvation has been unwilling to share any details about his Guardian-derived superweapon, and Sanderlin points out that while the superpowers are willing to give him everything he needs to keep him working on it, he has a massive incentive to remain secretive. Other than Salvation, only Ram Tar, who has reverse-engineered the technology, properly understands what lies behind the veil of secrecy.